Hello, my name is Dr. Jane Hendricks, and I'm a naturopathic physician in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I'm going to speak for a few minutes today on Crohn's disease. It's a very serious inflammatory bowel disease. It is increasing in the developed countries, and it can really debilitate a person's quality of life. The main symptoms that are interfering with quality of life is ongoing diarrhea, possibly bloody diarrhea, of course abdominal pain and cramping. There can be systemic diseases such as rashes on the skin and fevers as well. Fatigue is also a big part of Crohn's disease. Fatigue mainly due to the fact that the patient is going to be malnourished. Any kind of inflammatory bowel disease, malnourishment is a concern, and that is actually what I'm going to be speaking mostly on, is the malnourishment aspect of these inflammatory bowel diseases. For conventional medicine, the typical treatments involve corticosteroids and a medication called methotrexate, and some other medications that mainly suppress the immune system. And this is targeting supposedly the cause of the disease, because yes, it's the immune system is causing that inflammation in the mucosa, and they're not clear on whether it's attacking some kind of microbe, which is, they have not identified any particular microbes associated with this inflammatory bowel disease. However, it's a possibility, and of course genetically over half of the patients have genes for it, and there's about 70 genes that are involved. So genetics do play a role. However, you'd be surprised of how many genes we carry that are never expressed throughout our life, and we can affect our genetic predispositions with the environment. We can in fact do this. I've seen this even with my own body, looking at my twin sister and my mother, and what a different direction my health has taken because of naturopathic medicine. So especially with digestive disorders, I believe we have a very strong influence over how our quality of life can be, because it's directly related to what we eat. Unfortunately, gastroenterologists don't pay a lot of attention to that. They do have a list of foods. The patients are put on a very restrictive diet in order to avoid the symptoms. What's not being addressed though, and what I very strongly address in my practice, is their nutritional status, because like any disease, nutrition is paramount. For the body to have any fighting chance to fight this disease or heal itself of the imbalance, the nutritional status has to be there. The body is like a car. It needs gasoline, and it needs a certain type of gasoline. And while bread or rice may not upset the patient as far as symptoms, it offers zero nutrition. So they're given a list of foods that are pretty much devoid of nutrition, but they won't upset the intestines. What a patient can do, what I talk a lot about, is juicing. This is not going to be irritating to the intestines, because the thing with patients is one of the most irritating things for them to eat is fiber, unfortunately. And fiber is found in plants, and plants also contain valuable vitamins and minerals that you can't even get in supplements. Now, in the naturopathic world, we are big on supplements. We're trained on them like they are medicine. We use them pharmaceutically like medicine. We look for imbalances, we do blood tests. I do believe in supplements to a degree, but when it comes to irritable bowel disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, I'm not a big supplement pusher. The patient's already having trouble digesting their food. They already have some digestive disorder. They're having diarrhea, cramping. Of course, they're not going to be able to absorb the nutrients from food like a healthy person would, let alone from supplements. Supplements are even more difficult to digest than food. And yet they aren't able to get the plant foods in them to be able to get that nutrition from whole foods. So they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. They can't get what they need from the supplements, but they can't digest the healthy foods to get what they need from those either. And that's why juicing is such a great resource to be able to get all of their nutrition. And I say, quote unquote, it costs no money, meaning you don't have to digest any of it. It's like free money for the body, free nutrients, and it doesn't have to digest, which is kind of like a wound. Every time a patient with inflammation, they digest something, it's irritating, especially fiber, to that mucosa, and that's why they get so many symptoms. So with juicing, it's just fluid. I also prescribe shakes, because a lot of patients won't take the time to juice. I also prescribe shakes that are actually Chinese herbal, and they're stronger in nutrition than if you did even just juice, like broccoli, spinach. it has valuable certain kinds of plants that are so-called regenerative that promote healing. So not only are you getting nutrients from them for free, but these herbal foods, they're very gentle. Even babies can eat them, but they're profound in the nutrition that they offer. So much that I've seen the body heal itself. I've had patients do really well with these shakes. They don't have the inconvenience of juicing, and they're getting even more nutrition than they would if they were juicing. The patients that have been on the shakes long term, they got off the methotrexate, they got off the corticosteroids, the supplements, they live a normal quality of life, they travel. So it's been very, very huge for them in helping to balance the immune system so that it's not overactive, to alleviate symptoms. They still carry the diagnosis of Crohn's disease, but their quality of life is much improved. And again, it's so convenient without having to pull the juicer out, juice everything, and clean it up. The juicing is still valuable. I just found that these plant protein shakes, as far as travel, throwing them in their bags, they've been able to help patients get away from the home and keep their nutritional status up and avoid uncomfortable symptoms while they're out with friends, etc., for long periods of time. So that is my bit today. Just wanted to address the nutritional status and how a patient can work with that from their home. Of course, there's always the nutritional IVs and B12 injections that are valuable that a naturopathic physician, I offer that in the office, but that can get really expensive over time. And so I found that if a patient is empowered to work with their nutrition from home, to be able to prepare from home healthy foods and for long term, that this is of great benefit to them. So I hope this information was helpful today and that you learned something new. Thank you so much for joining me.